All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's Jay again, and I probably get this question more than any other question, and it is, what is afternoon shade? What does afternoon shade mean? What time does that start? What plants does that include? Like, what exactly do you mean by have all your plants in the shade in the afternoon? Give them the morning sun only. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of walk around and just kind of show you the solar aspect around this place. It is 3:30 in the afternoon, which is pretty much about midday, about as hot as you're going to get. We'll get a little bit hotter as it gets into 4 and 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, as the afternoon sun starts to set. It tends to kind of shoot in here at an angle that likes to fry things. So, like I said, it's 3:30. We're going to walk around a little bit, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by afternoon shade. And you can see that the good majority of this stuff is already in the dark. Okay, I've got a bunch of shade trees out here. It's super cool. These big massive trees, and so they block all that afternoon sun, and of course they're out there on the street side, which is my western sun. So let's kind of walk around here a little bit, and I'll show you some of the plants, and you can kind of see what I mean by that. And if your plants aren't in that same condition, well, then maybe they need to be. So it's pretty dark in here now. You can see these big shade trees just more or less blot out the sun, right? So you come down here and things like the mangoes, they look really, really good because they're in the afternoon shade. Got all this new growth on them, new flush, which if this was in the afternoon shade right now, this would be cooked, because the mango trees, they open up and kind of splay themselves open a little bit. And so if they're in a nice cool area, they can kind of fill back in a little bit. Ice cream beans, I mean, look at these leaves on this tree. These things are just enormous. Creates a lot of shade. Mulberry, ice cream bean. I've got a rainbow eucalyptus here in the front. These mesquite trees. So you can kind of see the solar aspect, guys. I'm in the shade. Avocados look good. Look how big and full they are, because you've got all this shade on both sides. Got a big blood orange here, mulberry, another orange, and you can see that this big mesquite here offers probably the absolute best afternoon shade filter on the yard. I mean, you can see it's all nice and cool, all nice and shady. Persimmons, love it out here because they're in the shade. Avocados. This one's getting kind of big. And this one's right out here in the afternoon sun. It only gets afternoon sun. Pretty good size avocado tree. Turn the corner. Mangoes just flushed. Man, look at the size of this thing. But it wouldn't look this good if it wasn't in the afternoon shade. Neither would the loquats. Big old leaves. They like to burn. But up here where it's nice and cool, got these big, beautiful leaves. Let's see if I can get around the other side of this mango. This thing is just amazing. But see, everything's filtered, guys, from about 2 o'clock on. Dragon fruit. See, there's almost no sun that gets in here, just a little bit of light. Lemons everywhere. Dark under the mulberry. Dragon fruit, see? Nice and filtered. And this is the front yard, so this would get the worst of it in the afternoon sun. And then out here as a break from the street, I've got certain plants that can take it and love it. So I've got these Barbados cherries out here. Citrus, Barbados cherries, big mesquite tree, figs, citrus, curry. See, these plants can take that afternoon shade. And then of course the avocados being helped out by the mandarin, fig. Curries are just beautiful. They help out the avocados that are behind them. Plants in pots appreciate the shade. Actually hold a bunch of your fruit. But yeah, it's just really nice through here. And actually I'm quite surprised by this mango because this one's taking the full afternoon sun. This is the first tree that's out here, but you can see he's got quite a bit of leaves on him. So you can see how the light's passing through some of the leaves and not through others. So he's got enough of a support system with his leaves to even hold fruit out here. This is a Bailey's Marvel. Let me go on the other side where you can see where the sun hits it. You can see this just gets full bore afternoon sun. And that's a pretty good looking mango to be in the full afternoon sun only, and fruit. Got some nice mangoes on him. But yeah, you can see this side, grapefruit, it's getting a little bit bleached from the sun. So out here, it's pretty hot. Let me pause it and go out by the street. Well, before I do that, I'll kind of walk through this little front entryway by my front door here and kind of show you these two. So you can see, like as I walk through here, mango, afternoon shade, just by its positioning. And then the star fruit is getting a little bit more sun because they need it. And then you're getting out here into kind of a worse area. Got a Chico Sapote, but he's still right here on the corner where it's shaded. Then you get out here into like death. This is pretty much death zone. This is, oh my gosh, hot. So what do we have here? You know, Barbados cherry, Peruvian apple cactus, dwarf mulberry, olive, because these can all take that full blasting sun. But you can see, and as you walk back in, well, what's growing here naturally? Well, the castor beans have popped up. See the castor beans, they grow, and man, they grow fast. These are like a month old. I'm telling you, these are like the best microclimate plant in the world, and they only grow exactly where they're needed. So I didn't plant any of these. These just popped up right here in the full sun. Big old leaves, sturdy plants. And you can see they're all growing kind of right here, just popped up on their own where they're needed, and they'll grow in the full sun and kind of help out some of these plants that are growing along the fence here. There's some pears and some guavas and whatnot that could kind of use some help. So they'll grow up and they'll fill in that section. Then as you get back through here, well, it becomes almost a full canopy and a full arch where the trees, you can see the big old fig. I've actually kind of let these arch over, and then having stuff on both sides, you create this tunnel. It's kind of tunnel of green. And so on both sides of this, there's fruit trees against the fence, against the house. And then they come up here and they eventually kind of cross over and touch. So this is that star fruit tree. And you can see he's growing up above the roof, and then he comes over and he touches this apium on this other side. And so it's kind of cool. You got that fruit arch, star fruit on one side and apiums on the other. And then, yeah, as we go back through here, you can see that as we turn around, all that sun is being blocked by all this, basically that archway of green. And then as you go back through here, that just continues to the back. So all this stuff is in the afternoon shade. Even things like peaches, because you'll have much better quality fruit. And if you've got things like white peaches, like the tropic snow white peaches, they love this, because you see all their peaches, their white peaches are underneath here where it's nice and shady and cool. And they'll just hang in these big chains. And all my fruit's in the shade, guys. See? The fruit's shaded. And for the rest of the day, it is. Beautiful figs. Look at these. Panache figs, tiger stripe figs. Not a full sun fig. Everybody wants to stick everything out in the full sun and cook it. And it's kind of funny because this castor bean grew in the pot with the tiger panache. Almost like it thinks it needed a little bit of help. But yeah, you guys, you can see how everything's shaded. The trees cast shadows on each other. There's some things that poke out in the sun, and if they do, they like it, so let them do it. White sapotes. And all the way back, it just looks great. See? Got all your mangoes, and they're all in the afternoon shade. And you'll keep way more of your fruit that way. Your fruit's sunburning, guys, and your plants are. Sugarcane. Look, see how it all casts shadows. Bananas, they all cast shadows on each other. The dragon fruit is now in the shade. Afternoon shade. Bananas are shaded. Figs. Look at the size of these leaves. Just awesome. The garden is still getting some sun. See the tomatoes? But the jaboticaba over here, it is not. This is back here. I'm by the guest house. It's kind of cool because I'm not sure where else in Arizona you can literally walk out your front door and pick mangoes. That's pretty cool. Big old leaves. You see this filtered light, guys? You're cooking your plants. You're cooking the fruit. Now this stuff's all full sun plants. Right, your apriums and your peaches and your mulberries. Man, this stuff's gotten big. This stuff will suffer in the shade, but now you can see the sun is just now starting to break here at the edge of the house, and the citrus will start to get a little bit of shade. It keeps the full sun trees up here in the sun, like the Royal Poincianas and your chocolate mimosas. They're gonna like up here in the sun. Pecans, moringas, olives. But if you look over here from the shade of the house, the mangoes are already in the shade. They've already been completely clipped off. You can see the sun just hitting the tops of those. And you can see they're just completely packed full of fruit. Just green and beautiful and just holy moly pumping out the fruit. Yeah, these things are insane. But their bodies are all nice in the shade now. Additionally, I planted some peppers and stuff in here with them, which, by the way, man, those are nice peppers. Those are nice peppers. So you can kind of utilize your pots for growing other things in. These look really good. And even under like the canopy of those trees, you can have things like mangosteens. I got this mangosteen just growing out here. Man, it looks good because it's in the afternoon shade now, and it's also under the canopy of this mango tree. Okay, so all full sun stuff. Peaches, stone fruits, man. It's a literal jungle here now. And then you just dip into the dark here again. Dip into the back here with the tropical trees. Go through this tunnel where the mulberries start. Man, those things still have fruit on them. Good grief. This thing's fruited for like 3 months. Okay, you see the light? The light aspect. All this stuff is in the dark now. And man, they look good. Tell you what, there'll be more mangoes this year than ever. This will be a record setter. Record setter on the mangoes. But yeah, big shade trees back here, mulberries, sapotes of all kinds, grapes, and you can see that this mulberry just pretty much blots out the sun. So yeah, it's like 10 degrees cooler back here. I mean, mangoes, yeah, they flush in the semi-shade, and they look great. But yeah, you just pay attention to the lighting as we go through here. Oh man, these mangoes look good. This year they've got all their new flush. They've got all their new flushes and fruit. Yeah, and then just look back through here. It's just pure jungle. Long gun. This is the dragon eye fruit. Huge plant now. And then back here is peaches and pears, things that block the sun. There's a big nectarine right here I put in last year to help this mango out a little bit, although it doesn't seem to need any help. It's just charging out the fruit. Man, these mangoes look good. Oh man, yeah. It's gonna be a record year on these. And then you kind of get way back in here and a little bit of the dark. Oh man, these nectarines look good. Get sidetracked. And then yeah, these avocados. They're really easy if you just plant them by a wall. And then put a couple trees above it, like mangoes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't realize the fruit set on this one. This is a big Alfonso. And it looks like my neighbor's gonna be getting mangoes this year. Lucky them. Looks like they'll be finally getting pulled over to the side. And then I got a Lancetella here in the middle. And then that's a big ockrung. Of course, that one's already full of fruit. Lots of fruit. But yeah, I'm in the full afternoon shade. See, now we get a little bit more out in the sun. right? The big window above me. Black Suriname cherry, he's okay with it. This mango could use a little help, so I might get something a little bit more up here to help out the dragon fruit and a couple of the mangoes. But man, those mangoes, even out there in the full sun, are just, they're just caked full of fruit. And then just on the other side, you know, of course, more mangoes. But see, they're all in the afternoon shade or filtered. See that there? That Arizona cypress is tall enough to just kind of take the brunt of everybody. Barbados cherries with goji berries growing through them. These are goji berries. It's funny, they look similar bloom. Goji berry, Barbados cherry. But the goji berries are actually planted way down in here, kind of growing through that. Australian finger lime, big old dude. But the top, just the top's getting it. Top of a plum and a fig. Top of a loquat. Nice shade again. I mean, this is like the kind of shade you could be out here all day. We kind of pop through this little opening here. And we got a big pecan here. Oh man, look at these peaches. These are the galaxies. Look how many fruit are on this thing, and I've already thinned this a bunch. I need to get back out here and do it again, because oh my gosh. Look at the peaches. Galaxy peach. And then back here, there's just a bunch of mangoes. This is like mango row. There's just stuff back here. But they popped up and are growing through here beautifully. Full of fruit. That's a mango, that's a mango. Oh my gosh. Mangoes everywhere. That's a mango tree. Behind it's one. Over here's one. That's your old coconut cream. Up here's one. It's got stuffed in here. Of course, the fruit's stuffed in here now too. And the big star fruit tree right over here. And bananas and the like. So you can see now that's the front. That's the front yard again. You see the sun's getting past all this. So what do I mean by afternoon shade? Well, it really kind of depends on the plant. Mangoes like to be clipped off a little bit earlier, about 1 o'clock, and they're probably good, but they do need a fair amount of light, guys, or you're not going to get good growth on them, and you're not going to get good flushes, and you're not going to get good fruit if you park these too much in the dark. Man. Another mango over here. Forgot about this one, but just this backside gets it in the afternoon. So yeah, I hope this makes sense, guys. Kind of looking through here when I say afternoon shade. Most of you don't have it. Like, almost none of you have it. A lot of you have just full open backyards, so you have to choose places to start with that are somewhat shady to begin with. So that would be like the shade of a wall that a wall is going to provide you, or the shade that the house is going to provide you. And then you start getting in some of these bigger trees, which I know you guys are all scared of these, but man, I got like, I don't know, 50 of these giant trees here with no problems. And yeah, they're my support system. This is what makes it so easy for me to get this stuff growing. Big old mulberries. That's a huge pear. Nobody knows that they're shade trees here. And look at that, that's beautiful. It's a pear, guava. They're a huge tree. Citrus are a huge tree. Moringas, mulberries, peaches. I mean, they're huge trees, guys, and look how much they provide as far as sky space that they take up. Now you'll notice there's a big old break right here. And that's because that's all morning sun. That morning sun can shoot in here and give all these tropicals what they need. Otherwise, they're not gonna fruit. The black sapote is just full of flowers. Because these guys, they need light. They just don't need that super harsh light. Back in here, same thing. It's nice and dark. There's a big old avocado. Look at that avocado. And that mango's got so many mangoes on it. I think it's just gonna like explode. Nice, easy growing environment, you guys. And so you have to plant a lot. And you might be digging some of those plants out later. Chiku sapote, I mean, this thing is just loaded. And it's putting on its new flowers, so I have a feeling that this plant just always has fruit on it. New flowers, tons of fruit. That's so cool. You can kind of see back in here. You just got all these little pockets, guys. Ooh, man, look at the blackberries. Ooh, they're coming on. So the blackberries just provide like a nice cover for some of the more sensitive trees out here. Wow. Wow. You can kind of eat as you go. And then, yeah, bananas, like, wow. These guys are beasts. Like, you gotta see this in person. This is insane. These things are like tree trunks. That is gigantic and thick and sturdy. And man, look at that flower. That's probably the biggest banana flower I've ever seen. Mangoes back here in the shade. Let's forget about this one, but yeah, this thing is insane. Insane. I can't even tell you what that weighs. But yeah, big, beautiful bananas. See, nobody else's looks like these. These things are green. And they're not wilted down, and that's what I mean by it. They don't look like everybody else's. If you look at anybody else's bananas at 3:30 in the afternoon, these things will be tacoed, like completely flat, flapped down against the plant, just trying to keep it alive. And I'll tell you, in that condition, they're not growing because they're just in survival mode at that point. So your banana leaves should never do that. They should never fold over. They should be nice and flat all day long, which means you know you got them in the right spot. Look at these. Oh my goodness. That is insane. That is insane. Just big old chains of peaches. Just beautiful. Out here waiting on me to pick them. I keep smacking my head into them. But yeah, I hope you guys can pick up at least the solar aspect from this video, because you just don't have enough shade and you probably don't water enough. And if you want this stuff easy, well, then you're gonna have to do those things. You're gonna have to overplant. You may be cutting down some trees you don't like later. It's okay, guys. You don't have to plant a perfect food forest on the first shot. That's what everybody wants to do. I mean, I've got plants in here that I planted a long time ago. They don't even do anything. They're just fillers, like this yellow Jubilee, yellow golden bells. Planted this a long time ago. Now it's just a kind of a filler shrub in here. I just leave it, right? If I want to take it out, I can take it out and put a blackberry now in its place or something. But this was cheap, like a $1 tree at Lowe's on clearance, and so it did the job to help me get my microclimate going. So yeah, guys, afternoon shade means afternoon shade. I don't know what else to tell you than that, especially sensitive trees like this mango right here. other trees can take it. And other trees can take it for different amounts of time. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that helps a little bit on what exactly is afternoon shade. And you're basically just walking around your property looking at the sky, looking for where you're missing windows you want to fill in, or maybe you don't want to fill them in. Maybe you need that as a morning sunspot, right? But I'll tell you, if you want to grow stuff like this, you got to keep the bodies of things cool. You can grow this dragon fruit in the full sun as long as you keep the body down here where it's nice and cool. And then it grows up the trellis, and then it can grow out here into the full sun and reach out there and do whatever it needs to do. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for watching.